how do you see the spiritual practice from the Welsh tradition coexisting?
So it's tricky. It is tricky. So almost all of the interest in Celtic spirituality is really an interest in Celtic paganism.
Mm-hmm.
And by paganism, we just mean anything that's not Christian,
Yep.
basically. And, unfortunately, that is what the category pagan means.
Yep.
It's a Christian name for everything
Or
that's not of
not
the religion
Christian.
itself, not Christian. And of course, plenty of modern people sort of, claim the definition and the name proudly. Now, because Celtic spirituality is largely interested in Celtic paganism, that creates a tension because the Welsh scholarly tradition is essentially a Christian scholarly tradition. And for a very simple reason, Christianity is the dominant religion for a very, very long time, pushes all other types of belief to the margins, happens in Wales, happens in Ireland, happens everywhere. It also means that social power and social status accrues around Christianity, accrues to Christians. That means that, learning and scholarship and any type of intellectual life in the formal sense has its roots in the monastic tradition because it's Christianity that turns up with, manuscript writing and learning in the formal sense.
Yep.
It also means that, when we look at how Welsh survives as a language, it's largely due to it's not the only reason it survives, but a big part of the reason why Welsh survives as a language is because of non-conformist Christians. So Welsh Christians who had had enough of the corruption and the wealth of the traditional church, if you like, the centralized church in Rome, and also aspects of Protestantism also, who were kind of sick of that and wanted their own Christianity. And so they wanted to teach Welsh people, Welsh common folk, how to read and write in Welsh so that they could better understand the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And, 200 or 300 years ago, Welsh intellectual life was really dominated by Christianity because of that, because Christianity brings reading and writing to common folk who are otherwise illiterate. They learn to read and write so as to engage with the Bible and to discuss the Bible and to have an intellectual life outside of the universities and the sort of the aristocratic sort of organization of education. They want their own learning, they want their own intellectual life so they can better understand the Bible. And that's the root of our current day scholarship in Wales. So it's intensely Christian. Although less so today, of course, because Christianity is diminishing in its influence. There's more atheism, there's far less religiosity.
Yeah.
But, only like 50 or 60 years ago, almost all Welsh scholars would have considered themselves one Christian of another type or another. So it's only the last generation that we've had a diminishing in the influence of Christianity and kind of a space, therefore, to begin exploring the non-Christian elements of our culture. But again, in terms of scholarship, the tradition of scholarship is still heavily skeptical. And it's not just skeptical of Christianity, but it's skeptical of anything that's too subjective.
Mm-hmm.
So any type of spirituality isn't really, well, that's something you do in the arts, That's not something you do in history. It's not something you do in linguistics. It's not something you do when you're studying medieval manuscripts. These are technical disciplines, And then